This is the Anycubic Photon P1, Anycubic's prosumer resin 3D printer. But is it any good? Well, I've been using this thing for about 5 months now, which means we are officially out of the honeymoon phase and it is time for the gloves to come off. We're gonna be talking about the good, the bad, and the messy of this 3D printer. For additional context, if you didn't see the original video, when I got this printer 5 months ago, it was my first experience with resin 3D printing. Thinking about this review in contrast to reviews from people who are resin experts, my experience draws more on, is this printer easy to use, how it compares to my experience with using FDM printers, and overall, what is the longevity and quality of this machine. I'll have detailed timestamps linked down below, so if there's a certain part of the review you're looking for, you can find it down there. And finally, it's worth noting that Anycubic did send me this printer 5 months ago. However, as always, I have a lot of opinions and all of these opinions are mine. With that said, let's get into it and let's talk about the P1. One question that I really try and think through nowadays when I see a shiny new machine online is, will I actually use this thing? Because truth be told, over the years, I've acquired Cricuts and laser engravers and CNC machines and every other weird machine that you could imagine. And I hate to say it, but a lot of them just end up collecting dust. So particularly as somebody who already had a bunch of FDM printers, I couldn't help but wonder, was this just going to be one more machine taking up valuable desk space? But I'm happy to say that that was not the case with the P1. For me, adding a resin printer to my fleet of ever-growing printers wasn't just one more bed to print on. It opened up the door to projects and a level of detail that I was never going to be able to get on my FDM printers. Setting aside the concern of if I was going to use this machine in the first place, to be completely honest, the internet had scared me for years about how messy and difficult resin printing is. If you're on the fence for either of those reasons, I always say if I can figure it out, literally anybody else can. As for the concern about it being messy, well, that one I can't lie about. It's messier than your last breakup. That said, I do feel like the product people tried to minimize these problems with a few quality of life features. There's a pour spout right on the vat for changing out resins. Any of the clamps that hold down pieces can be unclipped with a single hand. And they also have the Air Pure add-on that can help suck out fumes from the printer. On that note, I'm often asked if this machine would be suitable for an apartment due to the fumes and mess. Now, my particular setup takes up about a 2 foot by 3 foot area, but I've also seen people do clever things like put these inside of IKEA cabinets where their entire setup is contained. So from a sheer space standpoint, unless you're living in New York City, the answer is probably yes. From a fume safety standpoint, well, I'm not a doctor. In fact, I barely finished college, so I'm probably not the most qualified person to answer this question. What I will say is I wouldn't feel great about running this thing next to my bed or in my kitchen. However, having this in a separate room with my lid closed, my air purifiers running, and overall good ventilation, it's not personally something I ever worry about, but everybody's risk tolerance will be different. A final consideration when I was deciding if I wanted to test this printer was Anycubic's reputation in the marketplace. This is the first Anycubic machine that I've ever owned, so my only frame of reference for how this experience would go is what I was seeing on the dark corners of the internet. And if you've spent any time interacting with 3D printing hobbyists on the internet, then you'll know that people have a lot of opinions. Despite some of the horror stories that I had heard, I remember seeing so many of my favorite creators using these machines over the years. So for that reason, I said yes, and nearly 5 months later now, I'm glad that I did. Thinking about the longevity of this machine, one feature that the Anycubic product team really harps on is their ball screw technology. As a fellow product manager by day, I understand the urge to be obsessed with your technical features. However, as a fellow consumer, most of us don't think about things like ball screw technology on the regular. What this should translate to is less maintenance over time and longer motor lifespan. And I can confirm so far, I have not had to maintain or replace the motor on this machine. But again, it's also only been 5 months. That would be like if you bought a new car and had to replace the motor 5 months in. So yes, good that we have not had problems, but I'll have to keep updating you as time goes on. But that's enough gossiping about Anycubic. Let's get more into the general day-to-day use of this machine over time. Starting out where all good projects begin, the slicer. For those of you new to printing, this is a free software that cuts your 3D print into hundreds or even thousands of layers so that the 3D printer knows what to do. Anycubic Slicer is Photon Workshop, and again, it is free. Overall, it's user-friendly. It's everything you would expect out of a slicer. I like that they have the presets for their resins. I don't particularly love the way that they stack their menus inside of things like placing, but at this point, we're just getting nitpicky. The P1 comes with a light and camera installed, and pro tip, if you get your printer and think that your camera's broken, it probably still has the cover on it. Not that I would think that for multiple days after having first got the printer, but I'm sure it could happen. Now, if we think of ease of use on initial setup and over time, I think this is one of the biggest factors that determines if you will continue to use a machine. As for initial setup, all you have to do is take it out of the box and pour in resin, which is always a big win to me because I've had machines in the past that I fell out of the honeymoon phase with before even running my first print because the setup was so brutal. Now, particularly having started on the P1 with no prior resin 3D printing experience. I braced for impact with both my time and wallet, expecting that we were going to have a bunch of fails out of the gates. But to my great delight and surprise, time and time again, the P1 just does what I ask it to do. Which, as a creative who just wants to be able to focus on my project and not troubleshooting a machine all day, this has been one of the biggest factors keeping me engaged with the P1. Now, of course, I like to believe that I'm just the resin 3D printing god's favorite, and that's why I've had such good luck, but it may actually have something to do with the printer. The unique feature of the P1 is this wave release film that sits on top of the LCD screen. The little bumps on this film make the prints release easier and in turn get more stable prints with less support material required. Regardless of if I'm printing corner to corner on the plate, running large prints, or even running multiple of the same print in weird orientations trying to get it to fail, the P1 tends to laugh at my silly little configurations and powers through. With that said, reliability and ease of use are one piece of the puzzle, but especially when it comes to resin printing, the quality needs to be there as well. This calibration file was the first print that I ever ran on the P1, and especially coming from the world of FDM, I was blown away by the detail on this thing. But perhaps you're wondering, after 5 months of wear and tear, is this thing still capable of pumping out details on that level? Well, for reference, here's my Rolleiflex camera. Just kidding, this is actually a keycap of my Rolleiflex. And before I knocked it off the countertop, you can see how crazy the size comparison is between the two of these, and even more so, how wild the detail on this print actually is. A few other honorable mentions about things I enjoy on this printer. The vat holds a full bottle of resin, and it's also heated. So if you want to experiment with things like engineering resins, or if you just live somewhere cold, you're still going to be okay. Overall, the printer feels substantial and well made, and maybe it's just the nerd in me, but I think it looks pretty sleek in my maker room. However, there are a few changes on my wish list if Anycubic ever makes a P2. When the print is done and you take your build plate off, there's 2 clips on the front of the printer that hold it so that the extra resin can drip off. However, if you're like me and have the coordination of a drunk raccoon and you miss those clips, resin will drip down the front of the printer. It's not the end of the world, you wipe down the printer and call it a day, but it is an annoying little quirk. This one only happens to me when I'm mad, like getting your pocket stuck in a door handle, but if you forget to flip down this clip, it stops you from putting down the lid. Again, not the end of the world and more so a me problem. Finally, a suggestion for a future feature or add-on item. I was actually resistant to getting one of these for a while, but I got so many comments recommending flex plates. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like, a flexible plate that sits on top of your existing build plate. So that when the print's done, you flex it and it comes off super easily. Actually, almost too easily. Maybe there's a reason printers don't come with these included because I had to buy it on the black market, but I can't think of one. Finally, some rapid fire questions from the comment section. What if you accidentally ingest it, or it gets on your skin, eyes, mouth, etc.? Well, for starters, just don't ingest it. But more importantly, if you do have kids or pets around the house, be sure that you are storing your resin somewhere that is safe and secure and away from them. Always use PPE regardless of what type of resin you're using, and refer to your specific resin safety guides. But generally speaking, if you get it on your skin, wash it off with soap and water and you will live to see another day. What does my ventilation setup look like? Anytime I'm around or working with uncured resin, I wear my respirator from M3 with the organic vapor cartridge. Additionally, I have my printer directly next to a blacked out window so I can run my air pure, and I also run an additional air purifier that sits directly next to my printers. Finally, I have my printers in a dedicated maker room. All of this combined works for my risk tolerance, but you'll have to find something that works for you. Is 3D printing resin biodegradable? In 99.9% of cases, no, it is not. However, once it's cured, it is no longer toxic and it is safe to handle. That wraps up this Q&A, but leave me a comment on what tests and experiments you'd like to see done with the P1. Final verdict, if you haven't been able to tell already, I really enjoy this printer. And after 5 long months, it is finally getting its Misfit Printing sticker of approval. With that said, if you're interested in the Anycubic Photon P1, I'll have it linked down below. It's currently $599, and considering the size, the features, the quality, and how it's just overall held up for the last 5 months, I think it's a really good deal. But wait, there's more. From May 22nd to June 22nd, the P1 will be available for $499. Just visit the official Anycubic store, store.anycubic.com. Oh no, but I'm watching this after June 22nd. Well, gotta be quicker than that. Guess you should subscribe for next time. I'm sure you'll see many more updates on the P1 in my content over the coming months, but if you have specific questions that I didn't address in this video, or if there are specific experiments that you're hoping to see on the P1, please drop them in the comments down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and happy 3D printing.